Hello, YouTubers.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Clincher Homestead. I'm John.
I'm Nicole, and today we're down at the orchard.
Yes, we are. And we're down here because we've had a ton of rain and no time to tend to anything. And I thought today we'll make a great video on some DIY tips and tricks for gardening on a hillside. So, stay tuned. So on today's episode, we've got to do a little maintenance around here. I've got the mower, the push mower I brought down. As many of you know, our Cub Cadet is still broken and the parts won't be in until Tuesday. So I'm going to do this with the push mower behind us, and then we're going to take you through the garden and we're going to go over some tips and tricks here and there, what we learned along the way, and hopefully y'all enjoy. So we're going to throw the drone up in the air right now to give you all a better shot. Hope you enjoy it. And while you're watching the video, if you'd like to help us out, smash that thumbs up button. If you want to get notified on future videos, take that little bell and click subscribe. So one of the things that we did learn about doing this terrace gardening here is to make your use of mulch, because you can't get in between everything if you don't have enough mulch, like you see behind us. So we're mulching all this stuff, and by the way, we did this wrong in the beginning. You're supposed to put all of your plants on the flat level, not on the hill. So we wound up having to go back and start regrading the hills to make them flat. So just like this, how we're grading all these flat, well, that's what we should have done in the first place. So the real reason why you want them flat is so that the water doesn't just run off of the hill and it kind of sits there and allows to soak into the plant. So when we made these flat terraces here, we should have made them wider and then put our plants on the terrace itself, not just make a path for us to drive on and walk on. So, quick tip on that. Mulch to put around the herbs that I just planted along the hillside. So honey, what did we learn about the basil plant?
I don't think they like too much sun. At least not where we are. We got full sun here. So this side's gets more shade, so we moved all the basils around here. This is not basil. This is Spanish lavender.
We did find that, yeah, a couple of the herbs don't like a lot of sun. And we get a lot of sun on this hill. I don't know if you can tell, but my shirt is drenched already. After 11 o'clock, it gets brutal out here on this hill, which is why we planted all these plants on the hill, because it gets so much sun here, and I think all the fruiting plants will thrive in this environment. And we're starting to get raspberries now. We don't have any blackberries yet, but we've got some raspberries. Here's another tip on your raspberries. When you're planting them, don't put any compost down inside the hole. The fungus can eat at the roots, even though they really love acidic soil. So that doesn't mean that you can't use all natural mulch. So if you use all natural mulch inside of the hole, you'll be fine. A lot of people plant blackberries and raspberries right in mulch and don't use dirt at all, because it just makes it more acidic. So another tip that we learned when you're doing blackberries and raspberries is they need to have some sort of trellis so that they can grow on, and they don't want to be laying on the ground. One, if they're laying on the ground, you get insects and pests. And two, well, it gets all dirty and they don't really get the sun. They don't get enough sun if they're laying all over the ground. And again, the pest problem. And then the fruit laying on the ground will rot. So keeping them up in the air makes them easier to pick, less rot, and less pest problem. Now, another thing we learned, that putting in these terraces, especially in the Tennessee soil here, the Tennessee soil is very clayey, if that's a word.
Clayey.
Has a lot of clay in it. So when it gets wet, it's like glue mixed in with the dirt, and it cakes to the bottom of your shoes. So when you're walking, it's just packing on your shoes. So because of all that packing that this clay does, the best thing to do is mulch. But not just a little bit of mulch. You need a lot of mulch, like 10 inches of mulch on your first load down, because this stuff is already packing down and we need to put another load on it already. So that's one thing I think we wish we would have done, was put more mulch on our layers here to keep it easier to walk on. Now, it hasn't all soaked in or anything, but we could tell it's getting low. All right, so another thing that you want to do to help prevent weeds from coming up in your gardens, not only just the mulch, but you got to have some sort of ground cover, because the ground wants to cover itself, and if you don't have anything on it, it's going to put something on it. So we just got 28 strawberry plants. So we want to use those as ground cover in between, well, in between our patches of blueberries. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So we're trying to put our strawberries right in here. So right in this area where I'm standing right now is where the strawberries are going to go. And we didn't want to put them in between the rows here, because if we did, then if we want to walk in here, then we're going to be stepping all over them. So I think the other cool spot would be, we have some room right here along this bank here. So I think we might put some strawberries here and then in the middle there. Try to walk up here without slipping on this clay. But over on the top end, we're going to do a corner section. Also, the ground cover helps keep the ground back from washing away. And you know, we've had some erosion problems here. That's the next thing we're going to talk about, is drainage on a hillside. Because you have to have good drainage and erosion prevention, or you're going to have your hillside washing away with that water. So let's take a look here. So this whole section here, we're going to be planting strawberries, and it's going to help hold this ground back, and it's in a decently shaded sunny area. What do you got?
Strawberry.
That ain't ready yet.
Yeah, it's about to go, oh, it's smushy. See?
And it's also going to solve that dual purpose of holding the ground back for us, providing ground cover so we don't have any weeds. And as we're rolling through, we could grab one and have a tasty treat. So next up, we're going to talk about drainage. Okay, I think we're going to get to the last tip right here, and that's going to be drainage. So drainage is very important for erosion on your hillside garden. Being on a hillside, you're going to have rushing water down the whole thing, so you want to make sure you have some sort of drainage. That's where ground cover comes into play, so that you have something to hold the ground back. 2, on the outsides of your garden, we also have to have some sort of drainage to make it so that we can get in from the driveway. Otherwise what's going to happen is the water will wind up eroding away the side of the driveway. In this flyby right now that you're watching, we're taking a look at the opposite side of the driveway that I did not do anything to. And as you can see, as we go further up the side, it is really washing out a lot of the dirt, and it's washing it down on the other side in that field on the other side here. So that's the next priority, is getting that side, because if we did not take care of the drainage, then it would do the exact same thing as it did over there. The only difference is now we wouldn't be able to get into the orchard from uphill. So now we're going to do a flyover on our drainage, and then you can see what we did to rectify that problem. I'm also going to post a link up to our video up here of when we did do the drainage ditch, so you can see what was involved in doing that. We had dug this thing about 1 to 2 feet deep. In the bottom of it, we used what's called surge rock to go on the very bottom, and then we put number 4 rock over top of that surge. The idea was so that any dirt won't rush into and fill up the lower portion of the valley of the ditch. As we worked up the hill here, you see that we switched from going to the number 4 rock, and we're actually using just surge rock up here. So right at this point right here, we're just using surge rock from here on up. The reason that we found was because it's washing dirt down here, and then as it meets that smaller rock, will then start to form a dam. And then we actually had overflowing out of this, and then it started running down this path here. So I'm going to show you right now a little clip of what it's already dug into from it overflowing on the side here. So as you see, it really doesn't take long to put a valley inside of the ground, especially when you have a lot of running water across that area, and which we do, because you can see what kind of hill that we're on behind us here. So you have to take care of that water runoff, and you want to make sure that it doesn't damage anything on your orchard, and you want to make sure that Mother Nature has its own pathway to get through. I thought we were done. We're going to plant some more strawberries on this little ledge down here. Okay, so we got a lot of the strawberries planted on this ledge right here, as you saw, but we still got a heck of a lot of strawberries behind me here. Like, a lot of strawberries left. So I think that's what we're going to do, is put the strawberry patch right here next to the blueberries. I'll show you. So the idea is that we've got our first ledge of strawberries right here. I'm going to bring the front end loader and come in here and cut another ledge into this side to make another terrace here, and in turn that'll get rid of all the grass, and it'll also make a nice straight ledge here. Okay, over here, this is going to be strictly the blueberry patch. Now what we thought, we were going to put strawberries right here. Like I said earlier in the video, we now decided, because we have so many, is we're going to make a dedicated strawberry patch over there. So we're going to put more blueberries here. We got a crepe myrtle back there that we got to get rid of that thing. So that's going to come out. So that's the plan with the blueberries and the strawberries. But while we're talking about blueberries, we got a bunch of blueberries yesterday for breakfast. I'll throw a picture up real quick of how many we got. Now this is all off of just one plant right here. But let's take you and show you what the plants have on them right now. All right, so as you can see, we're starting to get some good blueberry production. The plants are doing very well. Now I just picked this plant yesterday, so the other blueberry plants that we have aren't ripe yet, but they're getting there. They are getting there. This is the first year, so we can't expect a lot. So that's pretty much only one side of our blueberries that's blooming right now, because the other side blew all the buds off of them when we were transporting them. So, but we're still getting a good production off of our first year. So I really can't wait until we get 3 years in and we have full production of blueberries. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait. So we just have one more thing that we needed to do here today. We can't do it right now because it's a little too warm out, and that's spray all the plants, right? We haven't got out here to spray everything in what, a week or two? Probably 2 weeks because of all the rain. We usually like to come out here on the weekends and do it every weekend, but because of all the rain lately, we haven't been able to do that, and I know the bugs are out. So we're going to come out here later on today and spray the orchard down with our concoction that we normally put on it, and this way it'll keep everything good and healthy. So for that, I hope everybody got some great information off of our video today, off of the DIY tips and tricks on growing on a hillside. You have anything you want to add?
I can't wait to finish that strawberry area that you were talking about.
Yep, so that'll be a pretty cool strawberry patch, and we're going to show you the construction of that strawberry patch too in a future video.
Tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah, so, oh, by the way, I also put a link up top here of when we first got our orchard done, and we did a walkthrough then, so you can see the progression as it is now. Anyway, I really want to thank everybody for joining us here at the Clinch River Homestead. If you have any questions or anything that you'd like to add to the conversation here today, post them down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you liked the video, smash that thumbs up, click subscribe, and tick that little bell if you'd like to get notified on future videos. It's getting hot,
Yep.
so time to go back to the house. We'll see you on the next one.